So needs to unmute himself.
Am I audible?
Now you're
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So, very good morning to all of you. A warm welcome to all participants. Good morning to Dr. Father Francis Xavier's, Director and Secretary of ALIET, IQAC Coordinator of Nirmala Memorial Foundation, uh, Dr. Poonam Kakkad, the convener of the program, Dr. Megha Juvekar. I think it's a great idea to have this national level online workshop on research methodology, a joint effort and collaboration of Nirmala Memorial Foundation, College of Commerce and Science, and St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. I think research as such, we have to give a prime importance to the research along with our teaching and learning. When teaching and learning happens, if you combine your research with teaching, the hands-on experience, what students can get while doing research, it's very important. There are several problems with the various kinds of issues comes up with while you're doing research. There are issues like ethical issues, issues like plagiarism issues, or you might have a problems with your infrastructure, etc. To find a way through those kinds of problems and do your research, I think this workshop, national level workshop, will help you. I can see the lineup of all the renowned speakers who will guide you through this 7-day national workshop and explain you the methods, various ways to go ahead and do your research without any time wasting your time. I would like to welcome once again everyone and wish you all the best for this joint venture program. And I suppose after this particular program, you should be able to write at least one paper within next 6 months. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspirational words. Now I request Dr. Poonam Kakkad to welcome the speakers and the guests.
Thank you,
Over to you, ma'am.
Dr. Megha Juvekar. Thank you very much. Well, a very good morning to one and all. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Candy Tikuna, respected Principal of St. Xavier's College, Dr. Rajendra Shinde, praiseworthy resource person for today's session, Dr. Madhu Arora, and my dear participants. Being the voice of our principal, I welcome you all. Due to unavoidable circumstances, Principal Madam could not join us for today's program. Well, I'm glad to share that we have got overwhelming response for the 7 days research methodology workshop. Participants have registered from Pan India. Friends, it is rightly said that research is no rocket science. It's all about logic and logical reasoning. There are many popular books like Andy Field, C.R. Kothari, Naresh Manotra available in research world to guide us, to give us hand-holding. I hope I'm connected.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Okay. To guide us, to give us hand-holding in the field of research. But the problem is, many a times researchers, when they are stuck in their research journey, they do not know which chapter or which page of this popular book to open. Friends, that's where the rich experience of the resource persons and the legends in research help us out. Well, the aim of the 7-day research methodology workshop is to explore various research methods across social sciences. We have tried our best to get the best of resource persons for the 7-day research methodology workshop. Thereby not taking much of our time, I wish all the participants all the very best and experience the joy of research for the 7 days. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Megha.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your motivational words. Now we have with us Dr. Sister Candy Tikuna. Very briefly, I'll introduce her because her achievements and she has a lot of success onto her credit. But very briefly, let me tell you, she holds a various academic responsibilities such as NAC coordinator of the institution, IQAC coordinator. She has written 15 books on her credit. Apart from that, ma'am has also evaluated several theses of various universities, and she has also received the Best Teacher Award from KBN UGC Women's Studies Center in 2019. She has also received a certificate of honor for delivering a disquisition on mentoring as a part of didactic initiatives at Delhi, and many more expertise in the field of research. Without taking much of our time, I will request Sister Candy to address the audience with her experience. Over to you, Candy ma'am.
Yes. So good morning to one and all. So I'm very excited to see overwhelming response for this 7-day national level workshop. So thanks to the opening remarks by Dr. Rajendra Shinde from St. Xavier's, Mumbai, and to the coordinator, Dr. Megha, and Dr. Poonam. Those are coordinating this entire workshop, and to all the other faculty coordinators of St. Xavier's, Mumbai, and Mumbai University, and Nirmala Memorial Foundation, College of Commerce and Science. Thanks to Mrs. Swedel Dikuna for this great opportunity, and a special thanks to my management, Reverend Father Dr. A. Francis Xavier, and Director and Secretary of Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, Dr. O. Mahesh, our principal, and all the other faculty members who kept me encouraging for this research journey. I would not be able to be chief guest of this today's function unless and until I would have got this encouragement from all the people, those who encouraged me. Yes, well, addressing the young scholars, dynamic scholars on this national forum who have come forward to listen to this 7-day national workshop, I would like to suggest, begin with a famous quotation of Socrates. He said, "An unreflected mind is not worth living." So research is all about reflecting, re-reflecting, and over-reflecting. So first of all, let me thank the management of Nirmala Memorial Foundation for taking this dynamic workshop ahead for all the scholars to make them reflect on this research journey. What exactly is research? So research is nothing but adding to the existing knowledge. So all of us, contribute in one way or the other. We have so many developments taking place every minute and every seconds in our society and the world at large. So we need to keep our minds and our eyes open to see the reality, what is happening around us. So you have selected rightly and wisely the topics. The story, the first day topic is on story of variables, review of literature, framing of hypothesis and questionnaire, academic honesty in research, pragmatic test, non-pragmatic test, pragmatic test, non-pragmatic test, tools and techniques in research. So wonderfully topic. You have selected all the topics so beautifully and wonderfully. So when you are exploring each topic, I would suggest kindly go through the sessions, and as in the opening remarks, it was suggested that at the end of this national level workshop, 7-day national level workshop, you should be able to write at least one proper research paper contributing to a proper research journal. So research is not only publishing in any journal anywhere, but publishing in a proper research journal. And research is all about these topics which the IQAC coordinator, the collaborators of this national workshop of both the institutions, St. Xavier's Mumbai Nirmala Memorial Foundation, and also in collaboration with University of Mumbai, have rightly and wisely selected. But one suggestion as you go ahead with this workshop, I would like to say that make this workshop socially relevant, because this is always my humble suggestion, for each and every individual, each and every research scholar, you have to make your research socially relevant. It should be applicable to the society and not only for your academic growth. So apart from your academic growth, the growth of the society is essential. So you need to see for the need of the hour, science of the time, and accordingly move ahead. And I wish and pray that all these resource persons, those who are going to address this 7-day workshop, will definitely make an indelible print in the mind of researchers, and they will be able to explore in depth all that is to be explored to make our society a better place. So my dear young research scholars and all the collaborators, organizers, coordinators of this workshop, please keep on your mind that research is not simply taking from one source and aping and keeping it and getting it published, but authenticating something which is authentic, which will be accepted to the society, and finally, which will bring a relevant change and make this society a better place. So once again, wish you all the best. I take this privilege and pride to be a chief guest of honor for today's function. And as you open up the new horizons of this 7-day workshop, I pray to the Almighty God, may He give you knowledge and wisdom to explore into the deep, the research journey for the betterment of all. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your encouraging words. It is always pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. So let's begin with our very first session, that is on story of variables. And we have with us Professor Madhu Arora. And it gives me a privilege to welcome her and introduce her to you all. So Professor Madhu Arora is presently working as a professor and research head and editor of NDIM journal Anusadhan at New Delhi Institute of Management in Delhi, affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. She is a recipient of 1000 Women of Asia Award by Womenator and Best Researcher Award from NDIM. She has also received ICSSR grant as project director in 2023 for major research project. She is certified by Google for digital marketing. She is having a rich experience of 18 years in the field of research and has also contributed as a convener for various workshop FDPs and conferences. She is appointed as a reviewer, editor in reputed journals, also published research papers in reputed journals of UGC listed and Scopus indexed, presented research work at IIM Indore and IIT Roorkee and other reputed organizations. She is also guiding PhD scholars in Linga's University for her research work. She has successfully MOUs with Bhutan, Nepal, and Romania for international collaborations. She is the recipient of the Best Research Group Award by Center for Education Growth and Research Excellence in Teaching by South Asian Management Association. She has also received an international award for working with women by Asian Academy of Arts, AAFT. So we welcome you, ma'am. And without taking much of the time, I request ma'am to take over. Over to you, Madhu, ma'am. Madhu, ma'am, can you hear us? Okay. Ma'am, you need to unmute. Ma'am, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now, am I audible?
Very much, ma'am.
Okay, okay. First of all, I thank Dr. Rajendra sir, Shinde sir, Principal St. Xavier College, Dr. Sister Candy, Chief Guest, Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology. I acknowledge all the organizing team for organizing such FDP on contemporary topic on research methods and data analysis, especially Dr. Megha Jovekar, IQAC coordinator, and Dr. Poonam Kakkad, convener of research cell. I may have wrapped the words, I think. And especially participants, without your presence, it was not possible to have this activity. Without taking so much time, wasting time, I start the PPT. Ma'am, can I share?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. There is an option of share. You can just share the screen.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, I can see.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. So, we see interpreting a smile. Normally, when we are happy, we smile. But when we are not happy, we don't smile. But what research says? It says that Chinese people smile when they are saying sorry. Full link I have given journal. If anyone want to study, I will share the PPT. So research is saying something different. We do not believe in normal situation. Again, I take one more example. I think if I ask a question, what is this? Instantly you will say, ma'am, this is water. But before that, it was discovered by chemist Henry Cavendish, who discovered the composition of water when he experimented with hydrogen and oxygen and mixed these elements together to create an explosion, which is called oxyhydrogen. Also in 1811, the Italian physician Amido Ovego finally found the H2O formula. So easily we can say that if we need water, we have to add hydrogen and oxygen. Again, we take one more example. We have just go through this case. One more instant. We know that corona vaccines are safe and effective. Researchers are learning about the extent and nature of side effects till now. But when they founded this, everybody said that, yes, this is that one thing that saves lives. But what was that thing? That everybody is watching, but thought process is different, that we can find out which other cannot find out. Means research is all around this. This is the scientific and systematic approach, whether it is water or corona vaccination, towards definite investigation necessitating formulating of hypotheses, collection of data on relevant construct or variables, analysis, interpretation, and reaching the conclusion as a solution to save the society, to save the world. Or we can say search for knowledge or systematic investigation to establish some facts. So research is to see what everybody else has seen. But we are searching again for the knowledge or solution to serve the existing problems, for new knowledge or to develop new concept or new theories. Systematic inquiry we doing, which provides information for decision making. Now, there are categories of research. It can be divided into three categories. First is exploratory research. Second is descriptive research, and third is causal research. If we speak about exploratory, to explore a new thing which does not exist, defining as a research to investigate a problem which is not clearly defined. Like we are again taking example of coronavirus. This was new and we had not idea that how this will be solved. So if we take example of exploratory research, getting corona vaccination, that is the good example. So research procedure is unstructured because we don't know where it will go. First, in first glance, it is qualitative and it will be molded as per the requirement. Corona vaccination, I have given you example, but we should understand before giving corona vaccination or any result, level of confidence and level of significance. What are these? Level of confidence means how much a researcher is confident about his or her research. For example, we have tried corona vaccination on 1,000 of persons, and out of that 1,000, 999 are survived and one is dead. One is dead. Can we recommend this vaccination? No. Why? Because this is case of life and death. So level of confidence is 1 minus 0.001 means 99.99%. And it is related to life science, so we cannot recommend. And what is the level of significance? That is 0.001. So we have to understand which type of research we are doing. If we are on exploratory in life sciences, then level of confidence should be maximum 100%. But there is no, but 0.001% can be there, 99.99. And level of significance, that should be 0.001. But if we speak about social sciences, for example, I want to study that how people are taking UPI, mobile payments. So in that, if I do a research and say 90% people are satisfied, I am 90% confidence on my study, and 10% is significance level. Someone say, no, ma'am, I have also done a research, but that is 92. Level of confidence is 92. So we can say, what happens? Itna zyada farak nahi padta. Because it is not a matter of life and death. So we can take level of confidence, level of significance at higher level. Means level of confidence 95% if I take, 90% even if I take, that will be okay. Significance level, that should be higher, but confidence level should be higher and significance level should be lower. But we have to see which type of study we are taking. So it is treated as alpha, measure of strength of evidence in a sample. Now, second is descriptive research. If I take an example of coronavirus, that we have tested that vaccination medicine on 1,000 people. But after that, what people say, how they are feeling pain, are there any side effects? What is perception of people after a time period? If we want to know that, that will be called descriptive research. So it is also a research method that describes the characteristic of population. Population is here people who have get corona vaccination. Out of that, we take sample on that and we check what is the result on that. And we take one more example, customer perception I have taken towards digital wallet in India. In this case, we can take significance level, which are more important, 5% to 10%. And confidence level, 95% to that may be 99%. Now, third is causal and explanatory research. Explanatory, where we explain the reasons behind that. For example, I want to check what is the impact of advertisement on sale. That will be causal explanatory research. Means there is some cause and there is one impact. That we say independent and dependent variable we are going to study in next slides. That independent variable who are impacting and dependent variable on which impact will be done. One more example, which of the two advertising campaign will be more effective, A or B? What are the reasons behind that? Now we come to steps of research process. We have 7 steps of research process, but as step 2 to 7 are to be covered in next days. So I will more focus on the first point only, but I will provide an overview of 2 to 7 points. So first step in formulating a research problem. What we have to do, identify a broad field or subject area that is interested to us. This is the big problem facing by research scholars that, ma'am, what topic should I take? I want to take a new topic on which nobody has done research. At a glance, this is good thing, but this is very challenging. First step is we should find a broad field. For example, I am taking example of digital wallet. I am interested in digital wallet. That may be broad area. Dissect the broad area into sub areas. Then what can be sub areas? It may be customer perception. It may be payment company perception, banker perception, or any other ways. Then select what is most interested to us. We can take help of Google Scholar and Scopus database, read many journals, newspapers, books. Then we can find out what are the research questions. We will study this in detail. Then formulating objective related to our topic, main objective and some sub objectives. Then assessing are these feasible, and then cross verifying, then taking the topic. So this will are going to do in detail, but I think we should get an overview of steps 2 to 7 also. Review of literature. It provides a historical context for our research to provide an overview of current context in which our research will be situated. Relevant theories and concept for our research we can go through, provide definition and relevant terminology for our research, describing related research in the field and how our work extends this or addresses a gap, research gap in previous work in our field. So then providing a supporting evidence for a practical problem which our research is addressing. So after doing review of literature, third step is formulating hypothesis. What is hypothesis? Again, I am saying that you will study in detail, but we get an overview that an hypothesis is really a temporary explanation, a kind of educated guess about what will happen under certain conditions. So a hypothesis is a precise testable statement of what the researcher predict will be outcome of the study. If we want to take some example of hypothesis, we take like null hypothesis. There is no relationship between working hour flexibility and job satisfaction. If we want to check that is there any relation between working hour flexibility or work from home, we can say, or job satisfaction. So if we find the result that employee who have flexible working hours have more job satisfaction than employee with fixed working hours. I have said that there is no relationship. This is an example of null hypothesis. But we have 4 hypotheses: null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, directional hypothesis, and interrogative hypothesis. If we speak about null, these are hypothetical statements, acceptance or rejection of which depends upon results of statistical test. Generally, these are formulated stating that no difference exists between parameter and static being compared to it. One variable has no relation to other. There is no relationship between 2 variables we are taking. Second is alternate hypothesis. When we formulate, in case null hypothesis is not accepted, then alternate hypothesis will be accepted. But the study must be exhaustive, comprehensive. If above stated null hypothesis is not accepted, then it is statistically verified. And we take alternate hypothesis when we have sufficient study supporting this. We have discussed that directional hypothesis also there. Third point, the relationship suggests that there may be correlation, that may be positive or negative, or a causal relationship explaining correlation is called correlational hypothesis, explaining causal relationship. For example, students belonging to business class families are less serious in studies, depict a negative correlation relationship. Or we can say stress reduces performance, indicates a causal relationship. In formulating hypothesis, we have last interrogative hypothesis. Researcher having finalized their problem of research raise certain questions which must be answered through their research. Research questions are generally called interrogative hypotheses. Like, does sleep have an effect on reflexes? Now we come to next point, preparing the research design. As a researcher, deciding which research design will be suitable for the approach and researcher wish to present based on research question and kind of data or evidence we would like to present. Also, we take into consideration resources available for disposal. Now we come to sampling design. In the research design, there may be universe intake in the university, for example, population, the students who are enrolled in the university, or we are taking corona vaccination example, universe may be total population of India, and population means the persons who has got corona vaccination and people who are affected by this. So we have to take sample from that unique address of every respondent of the population. Sampling unit on behalf, response is taken. Sampling methods are probability and non-probability, and then sample size is to be decided. Then data collection, that may be primary or secondary. Primary data we get through questionnaire, interviews, etc. And then data analysis, which statistical tool should be used for our research. So we cannot decide since we have data and since we have variable. So we can decide on the basis of variable we are going to study in details in today. Then I will also provide you a clear picture that which statistical tool should be applied in which data. Interpreting and report writing, that is also very important, because if we have done the data, we have done the analysis, if we are unable to interpret rightly, our research cannot give quite results. Then report writing is. Now, we again come to steps in formulating of research problem. First point, we have done this. We have taken example that problem formulation or choosing a topic is very challenging work. If we do it, provide time to decide which topic we want to choose or what is the statement of problem, it is said that well begin is half done. So read more maximum papers, maximum researches to know where is the research gap and are we comfortable in choosing a topic. Sometimes it happens then that students say we have taken topic at that time we thought that we can do it. After 1 year they found it difficult, that there are no more studies and we are unable to formulate a questionnaire. So there are big problems. So give time in advance to formulate a problem or choose a topic as per your interest and as per data available. Need of the topic should be there. So first point is identify broad area of interest. Broad area, vague, it may be vague, but it should be as per our interest. So maximum study should be done on that. Then problem formulation, where topic come from, the idea of a research project, practical problem in the field, and literature review. These are the things like you attend FDP, you attend conferences. In conference proceeding, you will find maximum new topics. They are not UGC or Scopus listed, but they are providing maximum new topics as they are more conceptual. So research scholars should read proceedings also to get the problem formulation, to attend more seminars, to go in library and see how much contemporary topics are coming out from the old research. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. What does it mean? We should listen to intuition also. Sometimes we do meditation and then we find answers of our questions when we are not finding in the existing word. So sometimes topics also come in this way. And then from all the sources, we have checked the topic. For example, step 1, I have decided I want to take broad area digital payment. In step 2, we come to specific area. I check all the research papers or whatever I can discuss with my guide. And I come to some topics like mobile banking provided to community. What is that? Effectiveness of existing services. What is the cost of services or mobile payment schemes available to the public by the payment companies? What are the ethics and their adherence in mobile payment practices going on? Customer perceptions, what customers think about the digital payment they are using. We have to check that what digital payments we will take in our study also. Then attitude of consumer toward digital payment services, that scale we can decide through the literature review. Community responsiveness in the digital payment and other things. Now, in first step, we have taken broad area. In second step, we have taken, these are 8 examples I have taken. You can take many examples so that you find on conclusion in step 3, the final one more accurately. You can take 20, 50 as per your research. Then step 3, selecting from step 2, what is more suitable to me. So evaluating all the points, I check 6 points, customer perception towards digital payment will be fine. This is one example. You can do your on this behalf. Step 4, area decided. Raise research questions. How do we identify the customer perception toward digital payments? How can community responsible be achieved? Because our research should be beneficial to society also. What indicate can be used to evaluate customer perception? What are the indicators? Indicators means variables. What pointers, what constructs are we going to take? So variable, any entity that can take on different values. Variable means which vary. Independent variable vary itself, like age of a person. It is not dependent on anything. Time, by the time it will be increasing. But dependent variable, our weight, our health is dependent on what we eat, how we exercise, and how we sleep. It is based on 3 steps. So these 3 are variables for our health. Now, based on step 4, we formulate objective, like to know customer perception toward digital wallet. This is the overall objective. In this frame, we have to consider some objectives we want to achieve in our research, like to observe the problems. What are the problems faced by respondents? Is it difficult to use? Is there network problem? Is there confidential trust issues? Are there legal barriers? There may be so many problems. Then examine the risk to the customer due using of digital payments and factor responsible for such risk at operational purposes. There may be risk like technology risk, there may be service quality risk, security risk, legal risk, any other risk, to suggest measures for improving risk solution in using digital payment. What is the work of researcher? not only collecting data and analyzing data, but to provide solution to the society. As we studied in initial slides, that researcher sees the difference. Everybody is seeing, but researcher think process is different. So this is the important point. Ki researcher suggest measure for improving the digital wallet or whatever topic he or she has taken. Now, evaluating the extent of work involved, when we decide the topic, we have to see what is the time available. A PhD scholar have total 2 years, 3 years, 4 years based on the university guidelines, part-time or full-time. So in that time, can we do all the work? Requirement of financial resources. For example, I say I want to study Indian versus American population. So have I financial resources? Am I sponsored? These points also taken into consideration. Your technical expertise in the area. So I am interested, but I do not have technical expertise. Then can I have time and resources to get that expertise? Otherwise, I will be getting problem in between. Now, in step last, we double check. Objectives are the base of our research. So while deciding the topic, we have to check, are we agree with the objective? Are they able to fulfill? And have we adequate resources? After checking these all things, we can decide the topic. And it should be possible to collect data. Nowadays, we have technology. If we want to collect data from America, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, LinkedIn, social media is there. Other connections are easy. We can collect the data. But where we need qualitative research, we go for an interview, and personally, we want to observe the person observational method. So we have to go personally also. So it should be possible to collect data. Sometimes data is forbidden, like crime reports. On that particular confidential issue, we want to collect data. So we have to take proper permission from the authority. So remember, confusion is often, but a first step towards clarity. So if we are feeling low in first 6 months of research, PhD, we are deciding topic and again we are changing again. It's common, it's normal. More we are confused, more we get doubts, and then more clarity, then we get to a final topic. Now we come to next theme after we have decided what topic we are going to take. Measuring variable or measurable scales or type of data. What is scale? Scale means we are going to measure all the variables, all the data, and data analysis is also based on these measurement scale. 4 popular scale in research. We can see first is nominal, second is ordinal, third is interval, and fourth is ratio. Nominal, as the name says, nominal. It will provide us categories only. It is qualitative, not quantitative, non-numeric data. For example, I say, what is your gender? In questionnaire, I ask, and I give option male, female. That is example of nominal scale. One more example I take, in what stage of life you are, child, young person, old person, or provide age groups or income groups. So that is nominal scale that has no numerical value. This is helpful in questionnaire, but on nominal scale, we cannot do more research. We have to convert into other scales we are going to discuss. As I have taken example of gender, some more examples are there. I ask a question in my research in yes or no scale. Do you smoke? Yes or no. Are you married? Yes or no. In a nominal scale, there may be more categories in not only yes or no, it may be 3 options, may or be 4 options also. So particular options are falling into some category. This is example of nominal scale. Some more example we can take how you describe your behavior pattern. So we ask questions extroverted, introverted, or ambiverted, someone extro and intro, someone in between. Means if I again explain in one line, nominal scale has categories only. Nominal scale has no numerical value. If we divide all variables in 2 parts, qualitative and quantitative, nominal comes under the category of qualitative value. Some more example of nominal. What is the color of milk? We all know we give category wise or qualitative options. Ordinal scale, second point. Second level of measurement. In this scale, we provide some numerical value on the basis of some order to the data. We come again back to next example we taken in nominal data. I said that what is your gender? And I have in questionnaire given example male or female, 2 categories. In this ordinal scale, if I will say if you are male, click on 1. If you are female, click on 2. It may be vice versa. It does not mean that 1 is superior to 2 or 2 is inferior to 1. I can take 1 as female and 2 as male. It is just an indicator. So ordinal scale has some numerical value, but that value is just an indicator. Example, again, one more example. I ask, do you smoke? If yes, click on 1, and if no, click on 2. How would you describe your behavioral pattern? In previous example, in nominal scale, we have taken category. Now we are categorized in numerical value, in number, I can say. Extroverted, if you are think you are extroverted, click on 1. If you are introverted, 2. Ambivert, 3. Again, I want to make it clear that nothing is good or bad. I can't say introvert is bad, extrovert is good, or ambivert is. It is just a category. I am asking a question. On the basis of research, we will provide the results. This is just an indication. So interval scale is third level of measurement. Now we have come to quantitative scale. In previous slide, we have discussed there are 4 scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal and ordinal comes under the category of qualitative, and interval and ratio are quantitative. So this interval scale is quantitative measurement scale. What I want to say? I want to say that in male and female, I said that 1 and 2 are indicators. 1 is not better than 2. But if I say I am taking FDP, I am your first resource person. So give me marks how I was able to explain on the basis of 1 to 5. Then 1 is lower than 2. I say, if you are not satisfied, then give me 1. If you are extremely satisfied with the FDP, then give me 5. And if you are in between, you can give 3, 4, 2 also. Here 1 is lower than 2, 5 is bigger than all. So here number has meaning. Interval scale is quantitative measurement scale where there is order. So we have to understand the difference between ordinal and interval scale. Number may be there and number are also here, but that 1, 2, 3 have no numerical value. But here interval scale, these 1, 2, 3 has some numerical meaning, value. There may be presence of 0, that is arbitrary, but I want to say. We are going to discuss next ratio scale. There 0 is true. Here 0 is arbitrary. It means it may have equal interval, like I am saying that give me marks on my performance in FDP, and if you are not satisfied what I am saying or I am unable to explain, give me 1 mark. Then 1 mark is equal to 0. That 0 is arbitrary. But when I say students are getting marks 0 to 100 in a class, so in mathematical answer sheet, students have left blank. I will give 0 marks. Na? There may be true 0. And in interval scale, if I am taking Likert scale 1 to 5, that 1 is equal to 0, but that is arbitrary. We have taken example of Likert scale, first of the most commonly used interval scale. You will find in maximum questions. Where, for example, where emotion is denoted with a number and variable range from extremely dissatisfied to extremely satisfied. So extremely satisfied may have 5, 7 scale, 9 scale, and extremely dissatisfied may start from 1. And we can mark or we can provide our respondent to mark as per his attitude or his choice. Now we come to ratio scale. Ratio scale is a type of variable measurement which is quantitative. Again, I repeat that in 4 variables, nominal and ordinal are qualitative. Interval and ratios are quantitative. So in internal variable, we discussed that these number had values, but not exact 0. But here in ratio scale, we have values with true 0. We can get true difference. Like I say that my age is more than 4 years than my younger sister. If I provide you my age, my younger sister age can be identified. It is exact value. So it is example of ratio scale. What is your weight in kg? You can check exact or this is continuous variable. We can give in exact number also in this example. Now, for scale of measurement, we get an overview. Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. We have 4. Nominal and ordinal are again and again, so that you may get an idea. These are qualitative, like used or naming variable in no particular order. Say male and female, I took example. So this is not order, first is male, second is female. You can take female first. In this, we have taken eye color. So we can take anyone first, anyone at last. Second is ordinal scale, where we provide some number that may be ranking order also, like happy, neutral, unhappy. We have given in this example 1, 2, 3. In ordinal, we can write 1 at unhappy, because 1, 2, 3 are just indicators. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. In interval scale, used for numerical variables with non-equal interval of same distance. Like we have taken strongly disagree to strongly agree. That was equal difference, 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 9. But that was not exact figure. That was based on some attitude. Ratio scale, used for variable on a scale that have measurement intervals. For example, we have taken weight, marks of student, etc. We continue this again to explain more. Measurement scale. Nominal, ordinal data, qualitative, interval, ratio data, quantitative. So in nominal data, we do not have any category. There is no ordering, no direction. Like, again, we are taking some examples of questions. We have only categories or qualitative data. We have words, text data. Ordinal data, order, category, ranking order, or scaling. We get numbers here, but that numbers are just orders, just categories. There is no big or small number. We write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but 10 is not bigger than 1 because we are just taking the idea to categorize. Then interval data, difference between measurement is there, but there is no true zero. And then ratio data, there is difference between measurement. We give exact number. My weight is 56. And in interval data, I take opinion, what should be done. Now, if we again say metric and non-metric data, metric is that can be measured. So for using statistical tool, we should have metric data. On non-metric data, we can identify, but we cannot use tools and techniques because these are qualitative only. There may be separate softwares for qualitative data. Now we come to variables, independent and dependent variable. The story of research depends on these two variables. Others are parts of these. Independent variable, which may have impact, which may change, but automatically. It does not depend on another variable. But dependent variable is dependent on some independent variable. So dependent variable, we want to get the result and we want to affect as per researcher's research. What variables are taken? For example, responsiveness to pain reduction. Medication is dependent variable. In this example, that if we get medication, there may be pain reduction. One more example, it is visible that amount of water will decide the size of plant, number of leaves, living or dead. So it should be accurate. In left-hand side, we see 3 pictures. There are one leaf in every situation. In first case, we are providing accurate water, what is needed. And if we see right-hand side, first plant, there are 4 leaves, means if we give accurate water, then plant is growing at accurate speed. And in second category, if we are overplanting, we see that water is more than required, then overwatering, plant is being dead. And in third situation, we are giving water but in less quantity. Then size of plant is increasing, but not as much as in first situation. So we study what is dependent on what, but again we check magnitude, the impact of one variable on the another variable. What is required, in how much quantity is required, that is also to be understood. Food is required for healthy body, but if we overeat, we will be overweighted. So we have to check the quantity also, independent variable and dependent variable, we to understand. Now, active and attribute variables. Variables are often characterized as research subject like age, health, beliefs, or weight. So variables which cannot be manipulated are attribute variable, and researcher create the active variables. Attributes are just indication like honesty, health, preferences, and active variables can also be independent variables. These are taken as synonymous. Effectiveness of communication board in meeting the need of intubated patients. So these are active independent variables which can be modified according to need of patients or according to requirement in the study or researcher concept. So this is the cause of independent variable. Independent variable may be demographic variable. We want to know the demographic perception of consumers in any area. In business studies or in business, maximum researches are on demographic variable. Like if we speak about Indian scenario, we have demographic benefit. Demographic benefit in a study or in population census, it was found that maximum population in India is young. What researchers say? That produce those products or services which are more required by young generation. That is why in India, people are producing techno-savvy products, more technology. And if we compare Indian population with Japan, their research will be different. They are developed countries, but their population is decreasing. Their maximum population is more than 40 years of age. So what business, what are the factors, what are the variables that are attracting their population or their business? That is pharmaceutical industry. So they need more population, working population from developing countries like India. That is why in Japan, Indian labor is in demand because we have demographic benefit. Our maximum population is in the age of 18 to 40. Now, attribute variable, that is the attribute or characteristics. We don't alter the variable during the study, but it may have some attribute related to things we can study We cannot change, but we can change the situation according to that, like gender, blood group, color of eye. We want to study effect of age on weight or some problem facing extraneous variables. Now we speak about some variables we have studied that are independent and dependent. For example, I am saying that my health depends on what I eat, I do exercise, and I get sleep. This is the research that our health, or if we want to go on weight loss journey, we have three things to take into consideration. 70% is the diet, 20% is the rest or sleep, 10% only is the exercise. It is 100%. So I go on dieting, I go on resting, and go on exercise. But still my weight is not decreasing. So there may be extraneous variables. I have not studied. What happened? That was weather. Weather also impacts the things, but in my study, weather was not there. In winter, we can have less weight loss. In summer, we can have more weight loss. So extraneous variables are those variables which are not under the study, but results are there. For example, we take example of Corona lockdown period. Normally we say that more advertisement, more sales, more offers, more sales. But at that time, people were dying and people were have scarcity of life. So only things in demand were food, medication, necessary products. So we say advertisement creates demand, but there was no advertisement. One coconut we get 60 rupees in normal today also. At that time, people were ready to pay 600, 700, 1000. Medication, we were ready to pay anything. For fashion product, nobody was ready to purchase. We were in lockdown. So fashion products were not in demand, even if these are advertised or given discounts or anything. So these formula of independent and dependent variable that does not work in emergency situation. These are extraneous variables. These come spontaneous or by chance in the situation, and we have to understand those variables. We don't understand, that comes after the study. These can be taken for the scope of study. So extraneous variables are non-recognized. When study is in process, see that we should have some results. Independent variable we have taken, dependent variable have taken, we have got the results, and R square we get the impact that is only 10%. So our research has only 10% impact. What are the 90%? That is extraneous variable. So when we decide topic, when we decide variable, we should understand those variables also which are not shown in the study, but that may impact. That can also be studied. Extraneous variables. Some variables, again, it is another name of extraneous variable that may change the scenario, that are called intervening variables. These are again called, we are going to study in a further slide, mediator or moderator variables. That are not independent and dependent, but they are changing impact of independent variables on dependent variables. So they may influence the relationship. Researcher does not know it, but direct impact cannot be seen. But these are necessary. These are necessary to study because these impact cannot be ignored. Now, for example, this example I have taken from a site. Girls' knowledge and practice helps in maintaining menstrual hygiene. Motivation, mother, friend, mass media. There are some other things which we can't say, but these factors are not controlled. It would be impossible to know what are underlying cause reality. Normally we say child behavior is depends on what teacher teach, what parents say. But there is more than other things in teenage peer pressure. We can't know, we can't understand, even parents know. We can take example of Kerala story also. Mediator versus moderator variables. A mediating variable, mediator means who is not in that two, but that is going to impact the two things, while a moderating variable affects that may increase the dependency more or less. That is not mediating, but that can change the result in between. Example of mediator variable, sleep quality is independent variable can affect academic achievement of a dependent variable. So the child who sleep more can be refreshed and read more and get more good marks in exam. So result is dependent variable. But through the mediator of alertness, in a mediation relationship, we can draw an arrow from independent variable to mediator and then from mediator to the dependent variable. Means in right direction, we write dependent, and in left side, we write independent variable, and in between, there may be mediator variable. Now, there are demographic variables. As I earlier said that in studies or in business studies, research related studies, this is very important to know what is the demographic. In special Indian scenario, our population is increasing in a hyper speed, and business has to know what category of age our product is going to sell, they are going to purchase. So separate products may be launched for separate demographic. Like even a soap, there are 4 or 5 varieties. We take Patanjali soap. That is not one soap. For softness, there is one soap. For anti-wrinkle soap is there. Then there are besan soap, there are neem soap, there are so many soap, aloe vera soap. So if we prepare a soap or shampoo for women only, then also there are so many categories. So population, demographic variable and their subcategories are important. Earlier we see that fairness cream is only for ladies, but then they business realize that there are many men who use cream of their female part, but they don't want to come as child. So they created cream for men. कि छुप छुप के क्यों लड़कियों की cream लगाए. So that should be so special, and they found out that there is a big market of men. If we get that product and market as need of the person, then we can get the business. So variables can be divided into many categories. Dichotomous, when we have only 2 categories. In example, we see gender, male and female. When we say color in black and white, give me answer in black and white, yes or no. When we have only 2 options, then dichotomous we can take. Trichotomous, when we have 3 options, like in age, child, young, old, or in gender, we add transgender also. Then it will become trichotomous variable. We have to understand that if our data is going to be filled by more transgender, then we can have this category. Otherwise, we can merge these categories. When we prepare questionnaire or we deciding variables, then we have to understand what kind of population we are going to address for our questionnaire. We are getting data. Then we have to decide how much category are sufficient. Like in age, if a product is of multiple use, like in for children also, there may be not one category of child. Child category may be less than 12 years, 12 to 16 years, 16 to 19 teenage, then tween age 20 to 25, 25 to 30. Then young, different category, old age, maybe pre and before these category, early 50, late 50. Depends on the product, depends on the service we provide. Then multiple variables, like more than 3. For example, blood group A, again A has category, B has category, AB, or O has some categories. Now we come to that if we have understood what variables are, we have studied independent, non-metric, and what are the variables which are metric. We have decided the variable. Till now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Then we go to the next point, which statistical tool we use. Any queries? Should I proceed further? Am I connected?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So now we have studied about the variables, and we have checked that there are main 2 variables that are independent variable and dependent variable. Questions come, which statistical tool should be used? So as we have studied that research is the scientific and systematic approach, so we have to choose the statistical tool wisely. All the data basically is based on averages, mean, and then checking the difference of mean. We take situation 1, when dependent variable as well as independent variable are non-metric. In non-metric, we have studied that out of 4 variables, that is 4 variables, nominal and ordinal, both are non-metric, means dependent variable, or we can say independent variable, either are nominal and or ordinal. For example, a researcher want to know selection of online versus offline learning mode of gender. In this, gender is independent, category are male and female, and preferred learning mode is online versus offline, that is dependent. Then which statistical tool we can use? We can use cross tabulation or chi-square test. Cross tabulation or chi-square test, in which we take both variables, they are nominal, categorical variables are taken. And statistical tool will be used if you use SPSS, that will provide you only 3 options: nominal, ordinal, and continuous. Continuous comes in ordinal as well as ratio. So dependent variable, we have to choose wisely, that according to studies, like we want to know that employee performance based on which variables. So if we take employee performance as category variable, that employee performance is improving or not, yes or no. Then we have to take other variable also category. Is salary affects you, yes or no? Working condition affects you, yes or no? If we take linear scale, then we cannot use here this chi-square or cross tabulation. So we have to understand. We have not to decide tool after collecting the data that this is the data and I want to use this sum or regression or correlation. It will not work. When we are going to decide variables, then we have to check that these variables are going to be nominal, ordinal, ratio, or scale. Then we decide tools in advance, then we go for the questionnaire design. Now we come to next slide, situation 2. Which statistical tool should be used? When dependent variable as well as independent variable are metric. What is metric? Metric means which can be measured. Which can be measured, or we can say that is performed or presented in quantitative terms. A researcher wants to know impact of advertisement on sale. Advertisement is dependent. Amount of advertisement in ratio form 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 10 lakh. And sales is dependent, that is also metric form. Then we can use correlation, regression, or statistical structural equation modeling. SAM can be used. So this is the point of variable we have to decide. So which 2 points are there? Which 2 variables are there? In this metric data, if we divide in 4 variables, that is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. What is dependent? What is independent? Which 2 variables we are taken? These are interval as well as ratio, because these are metric variables. I go to slide to show if you are not here. This metric and non-metric data, we again revise. Nominal and ordinal are non-metric, means these cannot be measured in quantity. I have taken example that would you like to read offline mode? Yes or no? Would you like to read in online mode? Yes or no? That is non-metric qualitative data. So if I say at what level you are agree that online mode is not more effective, then I give the question strongly disagree, then disagree, indifferent, agree, and strongly agree. Then it will become interval, ratio, or metric, or quantity. So all the story of variable depends on these 2 data. If we understand wisely, nominal, ordinal, all our variables, what we are going to take in study, if we understand clearly, we can formulate questionnaire accordingly, and we can choose statistical tool accordingly and find out perfect match for our research. That we use live projects. Nowadays, students need professional training as per new education policy. So we need more jobs or our students should be more employable, whether they start their own business or they go for a good job. They should be employable. I have done a research that some people say that students are not industry ready. There is gap between academia and industry. So what should be done? So we have done a research that if students are industry savvy or industry knowing what is to be done, then they are more employable. So this is my research that our live projects create more employability. So data was collected from the industry people and also the students who were going for live projects. So what nominal ordinal interval ratio data was taken? Nominal data was taken from the industry person, what they feel about that. There was some questionnaire on open-ended questions. And from students, some demographic variables were taken, like male, female, age was almost same, their family background, their income groups. And then we took interval and ratio data. That what part of personality, like what skills they learn. Like they learn about how to prepare PPTs, how to communicate with the clients, how to prepare records or files. So this data was provided on metric scale, and non-metric data like demographic variable, that was independent variable. So questionnaire was made and result was gone on impact. SM was used, structure equation modeling, to know the impact of variables, impact of live project on employability. So this was contradictory result to some extent, that what was opinion of students that they learn a lot and live projects were helpful. On the other hand, industry people were somewhat happy, somewhat not happy, because they said that their performance as per or their punctuality was not up to mark as they should be. So as per the demand of the industry. So we take the variables both sides, some nominal and ordinal, like non-metric or qualitative data. We can check the other side also. And in interval and ratio data, we check one side and we can compare. So nowadays, for qualitative analysis, there are some tools that give the bigger picture of the data also. Now we come again to the tools. Yes, we have done the situation too when both our data are metric. Metric, again, I'm saying interval and ratio. Now we come to the third situation. When dependent variable is metric as well as independent variable is non-metric. Like dependent variable, we take interval or ratio. A researcher wants to know demographic perception on digital wallets. So demographic variables are independent, they are non-metric. We take like gender, age, education, income group, the residential, while they are rural, urban, or parents, profession, etc. And perception on digital wallet, like metric or dependent. Perception on digital wallet will be dependent on their gender. Like sometimes we say male are more techno savvy, female may not. But it may not be true that our result will say. But age-wise, we can say the children are more techno savvy, teenagers are more techno savvy in comparison to middle-aged people or old people. If we speak about digital wallet, more than 60 years of age, we will hardly found data to fill. We send questionnaire to know the impact of digital wallet, and maximum college going students, school going students, they will say yes, we use Paytm, we use Bhim UPI, Google Pay, and other digital wallet. If we speak about 60, 70 years of age, they will nowadays they will prefer cash, not digital. So data collection will be difficult from that age group. So we have to decide in our variable that in age variable, what categories we should take. Can we limit our categories to 50 years of age, or we can go beyond that? That will depend on the topic. Then education, is it impact on digital wallet? If we think an illiterate can also use digital wallet, there is no need of education, or sometimes educated people are more using techno-savvy products or new innovative ways of payment, then we can say that yes, there may be difference in education. We can take more and more categories. Also profession. In earlier years, like nowadays, this digital wallet is very, very normal. When I did my PhD, I was collecting data in 2012. In India, mobile banking was just started. And my guide said that you have to do something on banking. And I met PNB manager. He said that in coming times, mobile banking will be very much popular. So you can take that. I took that topic with my guidance of guide, but I faced a lot in data collection because I sent my questionnaire to people and they say we don't use mobile banking. They just know only in form of mobile banking ATM. But my questionnaire or my topic was related to whether we can use mobile for doing payments. In 2012, it was just started. So I had to spend 6 months to collect data, but it was not feasible. Finally, I got data from a financial firm, financial consultancy firm, where every employee were using mobile banking because that was financial sum and it was compulsory to use. And then I collected data from that and then I go beyond. And now it is a normal. So education and profession. In which profession I can get the data? If it is normal from a layman, nowadays it will not work that we have to choose one profession. Even a rickshaw wala, even a hawker, ready wala, using Paytm. If I want to pay ₹10 for any food or grocery, I can pay. Even ₹1, you know all, you are young students and you know the digital wallet. Even ₹1 if we want to pay, but we can check the impact that how much they are satisfied, how much these digital wallet is impacting their life. For example, it was found that earlier change of money, like we can say ₹3, 4, it was a big problem. And shopkeeper, what they say, take a toffee. We don't have change. So we can pay them exact amount, even ₹56.63. Sometimes we pay fees of an institute or course, then GST is added, that comes in 585.63 pesos. That we can also pay with the use of digital wallet. So that problem is also solved. But still there are problems in facing, like in rural areas, we can say, we can address these issues. That in metropolitan city, that is okay. Where villages, where electricity is not there, that is a crisis. How they can use digital wallet or mobile, or we can check their satisfaction. So they are still dependent on barter system also in villages. We can address those issues also to know the research gap and to find out exact variable. Exact variable here will be residential status, rural versus urban or versus metropolitan. We can check this. This will be a new research because rural area is still untapped area where there we can find more topic to study and we can go get more education and for our topic and more scope or more research gap for our research. So on this, we use t-test and ANOVA. When t-test is used, when ANOVA is used. We have to check that our dependent variable is metric and independent variable is non-metric. So if we have two categories, in our example, if we have gender, and in gender, we have taken two categories, male and female, we will use t-test. And if we have three categories like age, in age we have child, young and old, or education, that is graduate, postgraduate, or MPhil or PhD or any other course, means more than two. It may be 3, 4, 5. Then we use analysis of variance ANOVA. So here we can take t-test or ANOVA. On the basis of t-test, there are also three categories: independent t-test, one sample t-test, and pair t-test. If we want to check impact of corona vaccination in first phase and second phase, means before first vaccination and after second vaccination, then pair t-test will be used. If we have only one sample, then we can use one sample t-test. If we have one sample and two categories, then we can use independent t-test. In the same way, ANOVA, if we have one way ANOVA, we can use in independent variable more than two categories, 3, 4, 5, and dependent variable is metric, perception on digital wallet like metric or dependent. Then t-test and ANOVA can be used. Now we come to situation 4. When dependent variable is non-metric and independent variable are metric. For example, a doctor could perform discriminant analysis to identify patient and high or low stroke. Factor analysis or linear discriminant analysis is used. So we don't have clarity of factors. We have just situations, we have just statements, and we want to identify what are these factors. Then we can use factor analysis. These statistical tools are used. As a brief, if we speak about research, that research is the scientific and systematic approach to a definite investigation. And we have studied that there are formulation of literature review, hypothesis, collection of data, and out of that, variables we have studied are important. In two variables, independent variable and dependent variable, we have to find out, and other related factors are to be considered as extraneous variables. Their impact may be there, but we have to choose dependent and independent variables wisely so that our research goes on smoothly. When we decide questionnaire, variables, and statement, we are not held anywhere, as good begin is half done. So I hope at the end of the day, you are able to know the variables and which variables comes under which category to decide for the research. So any question if you have, you can ask, or I recap. So these are the main 4 variables. When we use SPSS or any other software, we have to categorize when we get the data in Excel sheet, and then we have to categorize in SPSS according to which are nominal, which are ordinal, which are interval, which are ratios. It is simple. If we have text data, we check nominal. If we have numbers, but numbers are not important from value point of view, like again I am saying male is not more important than female and vice versa, then ordinal scale. Interval, when we have numbers but they have values, important, I say attitude, satisfaction. If we go in Ola cab, so they ask question, just we pay to the driver, then a question comes. That is also research. How much you are satisfied with our services, that is interval scale. Ratio scale, when we have complete data like weight, we have marks, or we have other things, that is ratio scale. So I am open for questions now. If you have any questions, you can ask, or if you want some clarity, or you want me to revise something, we can have. Okay, so I have no answer. I don't know. Nominal scale, again I revise because these all four are important. Nominal scale that have known numeric value. Like I say, I'm saying text data. Text data which have categories only. Categories means I'm saying male or female categories, or age-wise categories, or black and white category. What is the color of eyes? What is the color of skin? If we want to choose a black or red ball, that is example of nominal scale. What is your choice? So we have to understand nominal scale is very helpful, but in quantitative analysis, it will be converted into number. Nominal scale will be converted into ordinal scale. Ordinal scale is converted into interval, and interval into ratio. Ratio has all four categories, characteristics we can say. Then we come to second is again ordinal scale. When we provide some quantity form to the nominal scale, that is called ordinal scale, order or rank. But again, that rank is given or order is given on the basis of some identification only. It is not more or less. On the basis of this, we can't decide. But we can decide on the basis of third is interval scale, third level of measurement. Here we compare the data or responses. Like I say that if you get off from Ola cab, how you mark the driver or give scaling to the driver or the services, or we come from Big Bazaar lifestyle, they also say please provide ranking to our services, rate to our driver or employee or method or scale. So that is very important. The most used scale in the researches, quantitative researches, is the interval scale, because maximum tools can be applied on this. As we have seen, t-test, ANOVA, dependent variable should be metric, that is interval scale, and correlation, regression. So all tools can be applied on interval scale. Likert scale, linear scale is mostly used. And out of that, there may be 3 scale, 5 scale, 7 scale, 9 scale. 5 scale by default is maximum use. So we have to consider at this stage also, when we are taking interval scale, that what should be level of significance and level of confidence. That we have to decide in advance when we are deciding our topic, when we are preparing our synopsis, that in social sciences research, we can have level of confidence, level of significance at 95 and 5%. Most of the researches in by default, if we use SPSS or Jamovi software, by default it is ingredient at 5% level of significance and 95% level of confidence in all the softwares. But in some situations, we can go up to 10% level of significance, means 90% level of confidence. What does it mean? It means if we go more on confidence, that our research gives more or less of significance level, that is okay, that is good. So maximum 5 is okay, but in some situation we can go up to 10. But in life sciences, 1% is also big level of significance. Again, I repeated in corona vaccination that if 1% dies out of 1,000, that is big mistake to accept that hypothesis. So we have to consider utmost care in life sciences research. In social sciences research, we can easily say 5% to 10% level of significance, level of confidence we can. Now we have understood interval scale. Now again we come to the ratio scale. Ratio scale is a metric scale and then also can be measured in maximum of the statistical tool. When we say metric data, then it comes interval as well as ratio scale both. And this is the difference between interval and ratio is only main, we can, if we want to say in one line, that ratio scale has true zero and interval ratio has arbitrary zero. Otherwise, both are used in maximum of the statistical tool. So, example we have already studied. If we compare with 4 scale, in one line, if we define all, first 2 are qualitative and next 2 are quantitative. Means nominal scale, OD scale are qualitative, interval and ratio are quantitative. Now we again revise that which statistical tool. This is very important to know. Sometimes we do all the work, but we are stuck that मैंने questionnaire तो collect कर लिया, data भी है, tool कौन सा लगाऊं? So we go to the experts. Then if we know the variable, then it is very easy to decide which statistical tool should be used. There can be 4 situations because 2 data are metric, 2 are non-metric. Either both can be metric or both can be non-metric. One can be metric, one can be non-metric. One can be non-metric, another can be metric. There may be 4 situations. Again, we revise when dependent variable and independent. Both are non-metric means either they are nominal or they are ordinal. Then what we use? Cross tabulation or chi-square. Situation 2. When both are metric means either they are ratio interval, dependent variable, and independent variable is also interval and ratio. Then we use correlation, regression, and SAM. Situation 3. When dependent variable is metric and independent variable is non-metric, we have 2 choices, t-test and ANOVA. T-test, when we can use t-test, we have 3 categories. 1 sample, 2 sample, which is called independent, and then pair. So we have to decide what t-test we are going to use as per our requirement. If we are checking only based on 1 sample, like I have marks of students and 1 sample is there, I want to check the impact from the average, then 1 sample. In my class, there are girls and boys. I want to see girls are performing better or boys are performing better. Which test I can use? Which test can I use? I can use independent t-test. But if I have provided a workshop and then Before workshop, I have taken test of students, and after workshop, I have taken test of students. So I want to check the impact of that workshop. Then which test I can use? I can use paired t-test. Now, when we use ANOVA, in t-test, we have taken two categories. For example, I have taken girls and boys in a class. That t-test will be used. And I checked age group or family background. I have taken lower income group, middle income group, higher income group. Then I can use ANOVA. Now I come to fourth point. When dependent variable is non-metric, independent variable is metric. For example, a doctor could perform a discriminant analysis where we have not the clarity of more constructor variables. Then we go for factor analysis to find out what is the strength of variable, and we have to find out those variables which are to be studied. So as per the situation, we will decide situation 1, situation 2, situation 3, all based on variables. If we understand variables, the story is all clear for the process. So well begun is half done. I hope in your study, you can choose your variables as per the literature review and what are the dependent and independent variable in earlier study, what is their impact, and to know the impact of your variables, your study, then you can decide accordingly and choose the statistical tool as per your need. Thank you. Have a nice time. If there is any question, you may ask. And yes, ma'am.
Mic access देगा? You can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Those who are interested can raise it so that I can give the permission to open the mic. Yeah, Anshul,
Hello.
I have given you the permission. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, my question is, when we are going to use this statistical tools will be applicable to each and every question separately, depending upon what question I'm asking and what variable and how it is going to impact.
You have to decide variables in each objective. So for each objective, you can decide each statistical tool.
Okay, so on the basis of my objective, I will frame my questions. And when I frame
Yes.
my question, on that particular question, I'm going to use a particular statistical tool.
Yes. Which variable?
There I'll see whether. Sorry?
Yes. You have some questionnaire. In questionnaire, there are variables. In each objective,
Yeah.
there may be different variables. On the nature of variable, you will decide that which statistical tool. For example, in first objective, you are checking the demographic, impact of demographic variables. On that, for example, a demographic variable on student performance or customer performance, then you will take t-test or ANOVA. And if you want to check one metric variable on another impact, then you will take correlation or regression. Or if you have both categories, like how students are choosing, male or female are choosing online versus offline learning, then you can go for chi-square test.
Can I share one of my objective? Can I share one of my objective which I'm doing for my research?
Yes.
Can you
please?
tell me on that? One of my
Yes,
objective
please.
is to understand the economic profiles of the small help groups. So which test I'm going to use on this particular objective?
Can you share your objective? then it will be helpful.
To understand
so
the
much able.
economic profiles of the self-help group.
To help, again repeat, self-help groups.
To
Before that, what you said?
understand the economic profile of the self-help groups.
Economic profile. So economic profile, what are the categories in economic profile? Can you explain?
Yes,
Explain.
yes. Yeah.
Yes, please.
It has poverty elevation, asset accumulation, and
Great,
income
great,
generation,
great,
saving,
great. This is
and
okay. This is categorical variable. And second is self-help groups are. Please tell categories also.
ma'am, self-help group categories. I don't have. This is the only
Okay, 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 okay,
dependent
okay. You will
variable
use okay, okay. I understood. You will use cross tab here. Cross tab
which
or cross tab,
is
chi-square.
chi-square. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So like
Ah,
this, whichever
cross
variables I'm
tabulation.
so on the
You
basis
have
of
here you have a nominal variable. Economic, you are saying these all are
huh,
categorical
huh,
variables, nominal
huh.
variables. So you use cross tab or chi-square test.
Okay. So on the basis of my objectives, I have to decide my
Objective
tool.
and variable. Yes, objective and variables. You will decide.
So okay, 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 okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions to be raised? I think there are no more questions, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's my duty to propose the vote of thanks, but something which I would really like to say from bottom of my heart is, ma'am, understanding being the very first day of our workshop, you started from scratch, making them understand the types of research and very quickly the flow, how they can cover up all the process step by step, and then coming up to the actual part of it, because just starting by variables, they may not have been able to understand it. So I would really thankful to you for putting so much of efforts, understanding the crowd, and framing the content in a such a way so that it can be useful to them. So thank you so very much, ma'am, for your time, for your energy, and for sharing your experience. Thank you.
I'm also very privileged to have such nice crowd, and also, ma'am, you have organized this activity very well, and I give you all the best for further class.
Thank you, ma'am. Our pleasure to have you. Uh, Over to participants. I'll be sending the feedback link into your WhatsApp group. Based on today's experience, just a request, if you all can join the MS team, the given link 5 minutes prior, because understanding all the technical glitches that we have, let's log in 5 minutes prior and be ready for the session. So tomorrow, today, once when we have covered up with our understanding the story of variables. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the concept of review of literature. Again, a review of literature puts a lot of insights on our primary and secondary data as well. So looking forward from you all to meet tomorrow again for this session, review of literature. We end the session 1 year. Thank you so much. Anjana, you need to ask something?
Yeah, I have many questions, but I thought, anyways, no, with one explanation, I understood how to go about it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. We can end the session here. Thank you.